And I'm going to Kazakhstan because there's a airport operator in Turkey. They operate 15 airports in 8 countries. And 3% of airports in the world are privately operated. 97% are operated by the governments and municipalities and so on. And that 3% will grow because it's a no-brainer actually to give it to a private operator. So they, during the pandemic, they did a deal in Kazakhstan when there were no flights in 2020, 2021, where they bought the Almaty airport, which is the #1 airport in Kazakhstan, for 400 million. And actually, most of these airport deals are BOT. You get them for 30, 40 years. This is forever. It's an outright purchase. And they're putting in about 200 million of capex, so we have 600 million. And I think in a few years, they'll be making about 200 million a year on it. And so that asset is a tremendous asset. But there's 14 other assets, and it trades in Turkey. So that's awesome. And a bunch of these airports are not in Turkey. And the interesting thing about TAV, the airport company, is even the airports in Turkey, all their revenue is in euros. All their revenue in all their airports is in euros. So the lira devaluation is irrelevant. And even with the warehouse operator, they have cement and steel and land, which is automatically inflation indexed. So again, the inflation rate doesn't matter there because it just adjusts. So that's what I did. In Turkey, I just looked at investments where inflation becomes a tailwind, not a headwind. And then I just have the people I'm buying the stock from. Like Buffett says, it's like playing bridge with people who've been told it does no good to look at the cards. And that's the way it is. So that's what I do. Basically, I look for anomalies and just have to be patient. The number one skill is patience and let the game come to you.
Mohnish, one question.
It's not so much per month or this and that. It's whatever you sell, 40% is coming to me. So the $100 bottle, $40 goes to the airport operator. And then now we're left with $60. Then $25 or $30 is the cost of the bottle. And $10, $15, $20 is the cost to run the shop. And then the company operating the shop makes like $10 or something. So the airport operator, basically what happens, it's like lambs to the slaughter. So when an aircraft comes in, 150 or 200 people in the aircraft, let's say 150 people, on a per passenger basis, so that airplane will end up with duty-free sales for all 150 people together of about $1,500. So one airplane will bring in about $1,500 of top-line revenue, which means that the airport operator gets about $600 for each airplane that's coming in just on the duty-free. And when these concessions are given to these airport operators, the government, which gives a concession, will set the per passenger fee. So they give the airport operator. So when this airplane comes in, the 1,500, the 150%, if it's an international flight, it's about $15 to $20 per passenger. So about like $3,000 or something per airplane coming in as their fee. The duty-free portion is not regulated. So they just give them, so the duty-free is whatever you can charge, whatever you want, make whatever you want, do whatever you want. Same with food and beverage, not really regulated too much. So there's some parts of the business that are regulated, like this per passenger fee and so on, but some parts that aren't. And so it's a kind of a blend of all of that. And what was interesting about the Kazakhstan one that they got was that they, like I said, they didn't have a BOT, they owned it outright. And Kazakhstan was the only airport they got where they actually have the fueling. Normally the airport operator doesn't deal with stuff on the runway and all that and on the ground. So fueling that's the biggest piece of the pie for them. And Kazakhstan is landlocked, so everything has to come either by land or air. So anyway, so that's the economics of that business. The difficulties in that business are that you can get animal spirit. So when there's a new airport being announced to be privatized, then there are multiple people who want to get those duty-free screens and all that. And the danger is that they get overbid. So if they overbid, then you end up with a situation where you pay too much for the concession and then it doesn't quite work out. And but one of the things that I think TAV Airports has going for it is that the geographies they operate in does not attract a lot of the big boys. So, like when they were doing the Kazakhstan deal, nobody wanted to do the deal, especially in 2020 and 2021. Nobody wanted to buy an airport when there's no traffic. So anyway, I really enjoyed in that particular case. I knew the airport business generally had good economics, but then when I studied it, it was a lot of fun to study. And so now I think we own about 5 or 6%. So every 20th bottle of Johnny Walker is for the benefit of my investors. So it should be good.